Hello everyone, this is Jeremy Levitt. At lunch today, I actually stumbled upon the lowest rates I've seen all year long. I'm going to tell you that story and just a little tiny bit more. This is the Happy Home Buyer. It's Wednesday, so I'm actually going to be doing the apples to apples rate comparison. I'm going to show you those weekly national average rates and going to compare them to the offering that we have, and then I'm going to share with you that story that helped me stumble upon those crazy low rates. So let's jump right on into it. Here we've got this week's rate comparison chart. You'll see rates didn't change very much from last week. We're still sitting about as low as we've seen since the election. So when the national average is at 4 1/8% on a conventional loan, we're at 3.75. Jumbo 4.0, we're at 3.75. The huge gap is still on the government loans. FHA, the national average is around 4, and we're nearly a point lower than that at 3.25%. So you see, we're not a tiny bit lower than the national average, we're much lower. And when I talk to other banks here locally, in fact, I talked to another one this Monday, they'd reached out to me on LinkedIn. They said, hey, we offer super duper low rates, and we also offer higher pay than you're getting. So I'm like, all right, I'm interested. Show me how super duper low your rates are. Their super duper low rate on the conventional scenario here was 4.25. Most banks I'm talking to here locally are 4.25, 4.375. We're sitting at 3.75. That's night and day difference when you're comparing the two. But I won't beat on that dead horse. Let me show you what I ultimately found out in my lunch conversation. So actually, let's stare at that in just a second. So I'm sitting there at lunch. It's two gentlemen that I went to lunch with today. I've known them for years. They're in the multifamily industry. So apartment complexes, things like that. We sit down, we start the small talk, and I said, hey, how's your year going? And, they boboth kind of joked and said that, it's been tough because they both moved. Like, they moved their family from one home to another. And instantly my heart broke. Like, I'm like, ugh, because I know them well. I do lending for a lot of their clients and the people that, want actual non-multifamily pieces. And neither of them reached out to me for their loan when they moved. So, like I said, my heart broke. And I must just be as transparent as possible because one of them immediately turned to me. He's like, oh, I did seller financing. That's why I didn't reach out to you and talk about the loan. And then him having said that, I kind of, glare over at the other gentleman. And he's like, yeah, my maybe brother-in-law, one of those, brother or brother-in-law, he's in the mortgage industry now. So I did the loan with him. And so I jokingly said, don't worry about it. I'll be refinancing you soon anyway. And so we just kind of laughed about that, went on with our lunch. Towards the end of lunch, for whatever reason, back in small talk, one of them asked me, he's like, so what are rates like right now on conventional loans? And so I just kind of blurted out because I was putting together our scenarios today. I said 3.625. And they both kind of, it stops them. They're in the industry. They see rates all the time, but 3.625, they haven't heard that in a very long time. So I asked him, I'm like, well, what did your brother or brother-in-law get you on your home that you just closed on? And he said 4.125. And so I told him, hey, you got a good deal, which, we saw just today. Rates are as low as we've seen since the election. The national average is 4.125. That's what he got. So he got a good deal. He wasn't, given too high or given a really great rate. But I could see the seed had been planted, 3.625. That's a lot lower than 4.125. So we left. I wouldn't push these guys hard. I wouldn't, this wasn't a sales meeting. We were just, keeping in touch. I'm in the parking lot and my text is already blown up. He's like, is that really the 30-year rate? It's not the 15-year. That's not an ARM. That's nothing else. And so we text back and forth here this afternoon. I finally sent him the link to the website and pulled this up for him fairly simply. I said, type in your stuff, type in all your information, and it'll tell you exactly what your rate would be. Because he was talking to me about 15-year option, things like that. So we pulled up this site, and sure enough, his scenario is 3.625 with an APR of 3.625. If he was to do the 15-year option, he's looking at 3.0. So now we're seriously considering refinancing his 4.125 30-year fixed into a 15-year fixed at 3.0. And he did the math on just the 30-year. It was going to save him almost $80,000 over the life of the loan. So that's the real reason why we're over here offering these low rates, because sometimes it only looks like a small savings, 3.75 instead of 4.0 or 4.125. If you're holding that property for any real amount of time, you're saving thousands, tens of thousands, maybe $80,000. So that's today's apples to apples comparison and the Happy Home Buyer number 7. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you soon.